Welcome to our first edition of our Town of Berlin podcast. I'm here with Mayor Mark and Ryan Curley, our town manager, and we're going to discuss a few topics that we think would interest our Town of Berlin residents. So if you want to listen in, it'll be starting right now. Welcome, Ryan.
Well, thank you, Kaylee. Thank you for hosting this, and thank you to Berlin High School for having us here in the podcast studio. It's really kind of something that Mayor Mark and I have talked about doing for a little bit now, and we're hoping that if this all goes well, we can do a regular, maybe once a month or some odd podcast where we update the town on some of the good works that are going on, and some of the both at Town Hall as well as throughout town. And we have a list of topics today. Should we jump in, Mayor Mark?
Yes, let's jump in. And first, I think we're right. We want to mention our Public Works Department. I mean, winter's not over yet. I think spring is next week, possibly. But during this very tough winter that we've had, we always appreciate our Public Works Department. They've always done a great job clearing our streets and keeping traffic moving. It's kind of funny, even a long time ago, I mean, I've driven all around the state with some of my past careers, and no matter, who's been in charge of the town or who's working in the town, the Public Works Department has been amazing. That you drive around even to some of our neighboring towns and wherever else it might be, you get back to Berlin and it's been a big storm, the streets are clear. It's amazing that the work that they do, and the parking lots are clear, and for our students and seniors and everyone to get out and get around. So, yeah.
They do
kudos to them.
Yeah, the highway department, grounds department, and our garage for keeping all the trucks on the road and all of that. And so we actually did have a small salt shortage earlier, and so but we actually are fine now. Hopefully, after we did have some 70-degree weather days earlier this week. I know we're not done, but I hope we're getting into spring.
Hope we're done with these blizzards anyway. Let's hope we're done with those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Kaylee, what should we talk about first?
So first up, we are going to talk about the annual budget.
Oh, joy.
Dun, dun, dun,
yes,
dun.
It's a fun time. No, it's our budget time, and the Board of Finance has finished their discussions, and they have a proposal. That's just a proposal, of course. We're at about I think 0.76 mill rate increase. As it sits now, it still will go to the next step would be it's going to go to the town budget meeting for the public, and they can listen in and have a chance for their input. And then it comes to the council. We'll look at it and see if we could perhaps, my thought is we'd like to get that mill rate increase a little bit less. We already have a very low mill rate in the area, one of the lowest, and if we could keep it that way and still fund all our important projects and town departments and the Board of Ed, which I'm sure we can do, and we've been doing a great job over these last few years. And I know Ryan has had some great input into this budget, and as well as Brian Benigni with the Board of Ed. So, yeah, I think it's going well, and we look to wrap it up at some point and get it to referendum for our voters.
Thanks, Mayor Mark. Yeah, so as of right now, the budget sits at it would be a 2.5% increase over last year's mill rate. So that's where we're at now. As you mentioned, there is an annual public hearing on March 31st, and that's going to be at the McGee Middle School auditorium. And that's where both the Board of Ed and myself, we present the budget to the town. And then it goes to the town council, where Mayor Mark and the entire council get to review that, maybe make some changes before it heads to referendum, which will be on April 28th. So we want to put those key dates out there, where I always say the more voters that we can get out to the polls and participate in the budget process, the better. We want to make all of the budget material, it is all online. You can find it at the Berlin Town website under the Board of Finance, the Finance Department. So please take a look at that. And also thank you to the Board of Finance. They work really hard on this. Thank you to the Board of Education.
Not an easy task.
And all the department heads.
Yeah, not an easy task. And I think as it gets closer to the budget, the hearing, and we'll do another podcast hopefully before it goes to referendum, so we can get out some more information, specific information on what the final budget is. And again, everybody, it's a team effort. Everybody works hard, and we want to keep obviously our taxpayers and residents informed. And as Ryan said, please, 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 with the referendum, we want you to come out and vote. We want you to tell the town council, the Board of Finance, the town manager, the Board of Ed, what you want. That's what we're elected for, to implement what you want to see in Berlin. So we want that to happen, and we want you to get out and vote and send your thoughts to us in the town government.
The annual budget hearing at McGee on March 31st, that's public.
That is
Yes.
public.
So
Yep.
you're
Yes.
encouraging folks to
Yes.
come down and attend the hearing at McGee Middle School. That's March 31st at 6 p.m.
29th?
No, March
31st. It's the
at 6
31st.
p.m.
Yes,
Yep.
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. So more info on that, and then there's a town council on April 7th
Yes.
that will discuss.
Correct. We will get the budget from the town meeting, and then we will discuss that budget and see if we can tweak it
Perfect.
anyways.
And then send it to the referendum.
Off to the people to vote, which is what we want to see happen.
In the past, what was the percentage of people
Unfortunately,
showing up to vote?
it's a low percentage, unfortunately, which, it's noticed very well. We have signs around town to remind folks in case they forget about it. So it's not a large percentage, but whoever comes out and vote, we take their vote seriously. And, if they take the time to come and vote and tell us what they're looking for, and there's a couple advisory questions they can answer when they are voting on the budget. So we try and get more folks out. And it's a leap, I guess, but if there's not an overwhelming, turnout, I guess, we typically look at that as people are relatively happy with it. Yeah,
right.
That's generally what we think. And again, we've done very well with the town budget over the last number of years. And again, the mill rate's very low, our tax rate's low. And we paid down a lot of debt, and the budget's doing well, and we've got all kind of projects. We'll mention a couple today of a lot of good things going on. So people should be happy.
Yes.
The town's running well, and we're a very desirable town to move to. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ryan, anything else on the budget?
I think Mayor Mark, we've pretty much covered the budget, but I think as we segue into projects, it's important to note that how important the budget plays into everything that the town does. We need an operating budget to do all of the good work throughout town. And so we've got a list of projects here that I know Mayor Mark and myself are excited about. And a lot of people have been working very hard on a lot of good stuff. And so we're here to kind of share where we're at with some of that stuff. And Kaylee, I know you, as a Berlin resident,
As a Berlin mom, I want to know what's going on with the splash pad.
There we go.
The number one question.
you'll be happy to hear it in a minute or so here.
Yeah, so it's underway as far as the architecture and engineering is currently being done right now by Weston and Sampson, and we're talking, of course, about the spot of the East Berlin Pool, which is the East Berlin Complex, the Demore Dinda Bittmore Memorial Park, and what we're looking to do here is I actually attended the Parks and Recreation meeting last night where they have finalized the plans for the concept plans for this park, and so I included it in everyone's packet here. I'm hoping we might even be able to overlay this at some point. And what it shows is you're going to have a play area for the kids. You're going to have a splash pad and 4 pickleball courts right now. There's a bathhouse and ample parking. So it really is a complete project. I know that Parks and Recreation's been working really hard putting this all together. That'll then go to the council, but we have funded some of it already. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to bring, and again, something different. The splash pad, a lot of towns around us, Newington, I know New Britain has one, Rocky Hill, they've had them for a while, and it's something different. I think it's something that can be utilized by a lot of folks. Certainly the pickleball courts are very popular these days, as we know. We've had them there, but this will be an improved version of them. And, with all the other recreational assets in town, our playing fields and everything else, this will be a nice addition to all of that. tennis courts here, the basketball courts, of course, at the high school. We did those a few years ago, and so yeah, it's going to be, I think, a nice addition, and I think folks should be happy with how it turns out.
What is the anticipated completion date? Year? What? I mean, 2027?
Yes, I think
Okay.
that's probably what we'd look to. Yeah,
Okay.
it wouldn't certainly be this
This year.
year. There's a lot of work to do there, right?
The plans,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
So they're
plans.
designing the specs right now. We're looking at, as the mayor said, sometime in 2027 to start. Parks and Recreation is talking about a two-phased approach in order to help keep costs in check as well. And so phase one would be in 2027. And we'll see. It's going to depend on the numbers, and once we go out to bid, what the numbers are and how much we can get done at one time. And so the splash pad is the first phase, and then the pickleball courts would be the phase two.
Perfect.
So it's exciting, though. I know a lot of people in town are excited about this.
Oh, yeah. They
It'll be
really
fun.
are.
It'll be great.
Awesome. Let's chat a little bit. We'll pivot a little bit to the other end, the senior housing.
Oh, we're so excited
Senior
about
housing with Vesta, right?
Yes.
So if you want to just talk a little bit about the Knights of Columbus and
Sure.
what's going on over there.
It's been a long journey, frustrating journey, but not for lack of trying to get this done sooner. We certainly want to take care of our seniors as we do, but we see the lack. Every community does, really around the country, needs more senior housing, and we've been working on this for a number of years. I was actually still on planning and zoning when we approved the first plan.
And how long have you been mayor?
Oh my God! So I've
A
been mayor
long
10
time.
years. So this was probably about 11 or so years ago. We approved the first plan, and it just proved very difficult working with our housing authority, just because of the funding really all has to come for these type projects from state and federal housing funds, and quite frankly, the federal government and the state government kept changing the priorities of how this would be funded. And we wanted it just to be senior housing, and affordable senior housing. That's what we need, and that's what most communities need more of. And we had proposed, I think, 50 units originally, but the funding kept changing. And then in the very beginning, there was actually, unbeknownst to anybody, even those of us on planning and zoning at the time, there was an easement from the state for DEEP that was on part of that property that touched part of the development plan. So that was 2 years right there to kind of get that through the state and make sure that we wouldn't interfere with the easement and the development would be able to continue. And then from there, we just had a series of issues with the financing. Quite frankly, that's what it came down to. But we're very happy. We found we kind of pivoted a little bit, and we found Vesta Corporation. They're very experienced in this type of housing. And they came to us with a plan, and we vetted several other companies too, and they were the one that won out for all of us as we reviewed the work of the several companies we were looking at, and it's been a great move forward. And even better is that we're up to 70 units in this development. So we added 20 units of affordable senior housing in town. And that's ready for. I think we just closed, right? Did we close yet?
At the end of this month.
End of the month. At the end of this month, we're closing, and we hope to obviously the Knights of Columbus property. We need to knock down the Knights of Columbus, and that'll happen soon this spring, and we'll get going on this project. So we're so excited for it. We're very happy to be working with Vesta Corporation. They have a great background in this. This is what they do. They will stay and manage the property, which I think is a win-win for the town as well. So things are looking very good now for our project, and we're excited to get it started.
Yeah, the neighbors, I'm told, by the property have already received notices that demolition is coming to the Knights of Columbus building, and construction will be starting shortly after that. So once the property changes hands to Vesta, they're ready to get to work, get shovels in the ground, and get these buildings completed. I did see some mock-ups of the two buildings. They presented to planning and zoning a couple weeks ago, and they really look great. I think it's
Maybe
going
we can share those.
I
if
should
we
be
can.
able to get those as
we can
well.
try
Yeah,
and share
Get those out
those.
there.
nice
Yeah.
coloring, and it won't be too visible from the road either. So it will be kind of set back, so the residents there will still have privacy, and it'll be just as you said, Mayor Mark, 70 units for affordable units for seniors, which is a really good thing and very much in demand right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of a great location too, right in the center of town there. There's the baseball fields there. Seniors could take advantage of watching a baseball game.
Yeah, that's true. And,
And
the
the soccer
senior center is
the senior
also
center
not
is
terribly
right.
far either.
It's not far either. Obviously, they could walk. I think the path is there. But I think we're going to maybe make a little bit nicer path. They could actually walk through
Right.
to town hall if they wanted
Stay
to.
tuned. You heard it here
Yes,
first.
so we're going to make it a nice little complex for the seniors that live there, and for the neighbors too that are around the area there. So yeah, it should be a great development for town.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the affordable housing goal, which is 10% for the town?
Yes, we are so excited. We finally made it to the
Yes.
goal, which is in state statute of they want towns to have at least 10%. We're at 10.3 now.
1.4.
4?
10.14.
Oh, 10.14. Yes, we made it over that goal, and it's been a long journey, but we're one of the few towns that have made it to that goal. As far as towns, I mean, cities are generally there, but for towns, it's been a long road. But we still are persevering to continue. There's other affordable units that will be coming on board soon, and different projects that we have going. So we're going to surpass that 10.14 actually fairly soon. And we're proud of that. We really made it a priority for the town, and we made it to that goal, which is great because it shows that we certainly care about. We want folks to come to Berlin, and we want them to be able to afford to live here. And as far as the statute goes, it kind of alleviates some issues that certainly when I was on planning and zoning, that because if you were under the 10% goal, level, developers had a little bit more sway in what projects they would want to put here, and we couldn't always disagree with it or change it a little bit more to make it more suitable for the town. So now it shifts in a good way to the town and what we want to put in Berlin and how we want a development to look and be. So it's a great goal, and again, as I said, it helps folks come to town and be able to afford to live here.
Right.
So important.
Awesome. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I think Mayor Mark hit it. I mean, that 10% goal is really in the state statutes, the 830G legislation, which really puts the onus on municipalities to hit this goal just to have more local control. And so I've been with the town just over a year now. I know Mayor Mark, the town council, planning and zoning commission, and at town hall. Everybody's been working on this goal for many, many years. And I just want to thank all of the folks that had a hand in this, because it really is a big deal for the town of Berlin. Affordable housing throughout the state is a big issue,
Sure.
and Berlin is kind of leading the way on that. And so not only does it benefit our residents, but it also gives us that local control that we like. So
Right.
Oh yeah, it's a team effort too. It's so complicated
Do
to
you
get
know
here.
how we compare to like Newington, Rocky Hill, the comparable towns?
There's
Plainville?
only I think there's only half a dozen towns in our size that are at the 10%. I think.
Okay.
I don't know exactly
Okay.
which towns they are, but there's not a lot of towns, in our population.
Right.
Give or take a few thousand either way, but that have met that goal. So we're really proud to have gotten there, and we'll continue to add affordable housing.
I should have brought the list, because they
Yeah,
publish
there's
a list
yeah,
every
they do.
year,
Oh.
and it tells you
For next
each
time.
town in the state.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's some that are close, I think, that
Yeah.
are trying, that are near us. But as Mayor Mark said, most towns are
Are
not
not.
even close on this.
Yeah, we're very
That's awesome.
fortunate. We were able to pull it off, and again, it's great for the town.
So speaking of developments, let's talk a little bit about the YMCA, which is supposed to be right across from where we are right now. We're at the
Yes.
high school.
Yes.
So we want to talk a little bit about the
Sure.
YMCA. I know you guys just met with them recently.
Yes, we've been working hard with them. They came to us going back now a few years. We had discussed on the council, going back many years, about a senior/community center. We obviously have our senior center, which is wonderful. We have our community center, of course, under the library with a gym and different rooms. But, people were looking for more. I think the biggest thing everyone has been looking for lately is an indoor pool.
Yep.
So, that all spurned a lot of the discussions, and we had a committee that looked and picked different sites in town. Where would we put this potential building? And the one across the street here from the high school is the one we thought would be the best location, central to downtown and by the high school too. And we definitely know we want the indoor pool. That's probably the number one priority. We will keep our outdoor pool, of course, at Percival, but as we know, here in New England, it's limited, the outdoor pools for a short season, so the indoor pool all year round. It will also benefit our swim team. So anyway, in discussions, would it be a town building? We hired Park and Rec hired an architect, and we had different plans, different size buildings. We put a lot of work and effort into it, and ultimately, it's a very expensive project. We visited. We had another subcommittee of the council to study all the different towns that have done community centers with pools, without pools, and it's proven to be a very, very expensive project for the towns. And many times, a lot of the towns are not doing that well financially with those buildings because they're very expensive to run and to take care of, especially with an indoor pool. So, the YMCA, which already is in town, they do a lot of town programs. It's New Britain, Berlin, Meriden YMCA. They approached us a few years ago and said, we're interested in perhaps building a Y in Berlin. So, we've been discussing it and going through different thoughts on the project. And as I said, the most important part of this would be the indoor pool. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at now. We've done some engineering on the property across the street. It is suitable for a building of the size that we're looking for. And we're in discussions, and the Y now, it's sort of in the Y hands to go and do their due diligence and look at the engineering and see what size building. And again, we all have agreed, the Y and the town council, to indoor pool. That's the most important thing we'd like to see. Plus, some other things.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The land itself, is that owned by the town of
Correct.
Berlin? Okay, so would we lease it to them?
We would lease it to them. They're a nonprofit, so for $1 a year, basically,
Okay.
we'd basically give them the land for a term, maybe 30 years, whatever, and let them go ahead and build that building. And we're going to keep, no matter what happens there, the senior center will remain.
Okay.
We're not going to mess with that. We'll keep the senior center there, and
the community center would
and the community
remain.
center will remain for now. We'll see how it all goes down the road. What gets built there? What other, beside the indoor pool, what other activities they will have? Y always has activities for many folks of different ages, so seniors and
so everyone
toddlers
can benefit
and
from it.
everyone should be able to benefit. The Plainville Y is the one that I'm used to because my son would go there and play basketball all the time growing up here, and that's kind of their community center. Senior center is the one in Plainville, and Southington has one as well. So we're looking to do that, and we'll see how it proceeds. If for some reason doesn't work out with the Y, the town will look at that, and the indoor pool is something that is high on our future priority list here. So
this is for the Redcoats here in town.
The swim team, of
Well, I
course.
wonder
That'd be great too.
If the
Obviously, they're
YMCA owns it,
Yes.
the Redcoats are able to use
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Is it something that they work into
Yes.
the
So
contract?
we're kind of
or-
talking public-private partnership here,
Right, that would
which
make
is
the most
really
sense.
great, and the Y
Yeah.
is definitely open for that. We certainly want to help our swim team. They'll have a home pool, which is great. They use the Meriden Y now.
Oh, they
Typically,
do?
yes,
Oh, I didn't
to
know
practice
that. Okay.
and all that. Yeah, so they've already, the Y's very familiar. Obviously, they're here in Berlin too with all their other
Right.
activities that they have, summer camps and different things. So it's always been a partnership with the Y anyway.
Okay.
So this will continue
That would be
that,
great.
and we're excited. We're excited
Yeah.
to go forward.
Yeah, the Y is going to be coming to the town council meeting this Tuesday, March 17th, to talk about where they're at right now. They're going to share their vision statement for this project. As you said, Mayor, it includes a pool. They want to include a gymnasium as well and some health and wellness for the seniors in town. And I believe they're going to be looking to add some athletic fields
Yes,
right
in
across
back.
here as well.
Yes.
So really, it's the indoor pool is priority one, and we've explained that to the Y understands. They've been great to work with so far, and right now this next phase is to continue the due diligence to see if this partnership will work in the long term. So they're going to be conducting a feasibility study and putting some plans together, and also getting some number estimates, so we know how much we would need to raise in order to fund this, because we would be looking for the Y is a nonprofit, would be looking for some donations as well in order to get this.
Yeah, they have to do a fundraising campaign. I mean, it's the
They
YMCA.
would do it,
They
or
would
the
do
town
it.
of Berlin
They
would
would
do
do
it?
it.
Okay.
Yes, we would contribute to it, but as I mentioned, why we're so excited about this is, the impetus is on them. Once the building is built and they raise enough funds, the town would contribute something too, to be discussed, at council meetings and Board of Finance going forward. But, it's going to save us, as we know, the prices to build a building today, and never mind an indoor pool in it, are very pricey. So it would be a huge burden on the taxpayers of Berlin if we did a town building. And as like I mentioned earlier, a lot of towns have gone forward with that, and they have not been happy finance-wise. Financially, some of the towns are not doing very well with it, and there's been a couple towns that want to close them down because it's costing a lot of money to maintain it. It's about $500,000 just to maintain an indoor pool, going forward. So we're excited about this, and again, public-private partnership, and we'll help out a lot. Obviously, we're going to lease them the land for $1, so that's certainly one of the town's contributions to the Y, and there'll be a little bit more. Hopefully, we can kick in. But again, saving the taxpayers quite a bit of money, and still getting these great services in town, and the Y and the town are so far pretty excited about it, and we'll see how it goes.
That sounds great. Ryan, anything else on the YMCA?
I think that's pretty much it. We're all excited about it. Excited to see where this goes and continue the process, and we're hopeful that we'll have a new indoor pool in town and coming soon.
Sooner than later.
Sooner than later.
We'll-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're all excited to get going.
You'll keep that momentum going with
We're
them.
going to keep it going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've hit all of our topics. I just want to discuss a few things. Maybe we can end the show each week with Berlin Buzz topics. So we can try and talk to you guys about the things that we see on Berlin Buzz and maybe answer some questions. So feel free to bring more questions there. But one of the topics that was pretty popular on Berlin Buzz was the Glen Street Bridge, when it was going to start construction, and if it was going to affect anybody, school buses and things like that.
Sure, I can speak to that. Yes, so this has been a project that's been in the works for a long time. It's been coming before the council numerous times, because this is a project that's funded through both state and federal dollars. So it's totally reimbursable to the town, but it will close. The Glen Street Bridge will be closed while construction is taking place. We've posted detour information on the town's website and Facebook page where you can see that, and construction is going to be starting April 1, I believe. So that's coming soon. It's going, so I apologize for those folks who will be inconvenienced during that time, but we don't want our bridges falling down. So.
No, we don't.
And we have, Berlin. We've had folks that have lived in Berlin for quite a while here. A lot of bridges in Berlin. Actually, I didn't realize it till recently. I think we have some 30 bridges. We have a lot more than most towns. I mean, they're very short spans. They're not.
I think it's more than that.
We don't have 30 Golden Gate bridges or anything, but they're small bridges, and but they do need to be repaired, and obviously they're dangerous if they're not. So we apologize for the inconvenience, but we're happy that we're finally getting this one done. So,
Do you know how long they anticipate the project to be?
the length of this?
It will be for 6 months. I would
6
say.
months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say probably
Okay.
6 months.
6
yeah.
months.
Not
At the
incredibly
min-
long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, they want to do it in the good weather and get it finished up.
Yeah,
before-
that makes sense.
before-
So most of the work will be done during the summer months anyways.
Yes.
So that will help with
Yes.
schools and not disrupting buses and all that stuff. And then the other big question was the development at the corner of Four Rod and Norton. Everyone wants to know what is going there.
Yes. Well, so that's been vacant for as long as I can remember growing up in town here. Obviously, it was a hayfield was the last use of it, but that whole area, of course, as the folks know, Four Rod Road on that side, on both sides really, as you go down towards town, is a lot of it is commercial, and it's been that way for years. That was been zoned commercial for forever, I'm sure, since the 50s when zoning started. So finally, some developer came in and he wants to put, which planning and zoning did a lot of work on, business condos. So they're small, buildings. They're going to look nice. We're going to put up some screening on different sides there from the homes that are around there. But it is a commercial property, always has been zoned that way. And just for small HVAC companies, small businesses to. I don't know if they're buying them all or renting them or leasing them. I'm not sure
They're
yet.
going
A little about they're going to buy them.
No, they're
gonna
going
lease
to be like condos. So they're
Condos,
going to
like
buy
they're-
them.
they're gonna
yeah.
buy them. You're gonna buy
Oh, okay, that's
Yep.
great.
And they can park, their vehicles in there, but again, designed, to not be offensive to the neighborhood,
Sure.
certainly, and it shouldn't really add that much to traffic. And early on with planning and zoning, there were some folks in the neighborhood. Understandably, they're used to a nice hayfield, and understood that there was some talk of changing that to put housing there. And the housing that probably would go there, as we discussed it quite a bit with the residents and planning and zoning there too, who attended many of those meetings, that would create much more of a traffic issue there, and probably the amount of housing that some developer would need to put in there to make it profitable for them to build it would not be very good for the neighborhood.
Right.
And I think ultimately through all those discussions, again, with planning and zoning and other members of the town, I think they realized this was a lower density use of the property, which should not affect anyone's life around that area significantly.
Do you know how many they plan to build?
They lowered it, I think, from the beginning. I don't remember
It's
how
9
many
buildings.
units.
9
Is it
buildings?
9
Okay,
buildings?
so
I
that's
think
not
they're
that
divided
many.
though, maybe
Into units.
into units in
So
those
9.
buildings.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got
so
it.
it's 9 buildings with there might
With a
be
few
different units.
in
Yeah.
each building.
Yes, but
Okay.
again, it's kind of built to be low key. We've really worked on the design for those buildings, that they look, attractive as a commercial building can be, as much as it can be. And again, it shouldn't really add significantly to the traffic in the area, which is important because obviously we have 2 schools down the street, and it's a busy road,
Yeah.
both roads, Fort
Right,
Rod and
right, that's right.
yeah,
There's the two.
and
And then
Norton, so.
the last question was the building next to Joel's. That building, the new construction, if you can
Yes.
touch on that at all.
Yes, I mean, obviously that went through planning and zoning. I think those are housing units, I believe, is what's going in there. I
think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, planning and zoning looked at that building. It did fit in the zone, obviously. I know it's a little, perhaps, out of character for that. Perhaps a little bit coming out a little
Is
bit.
this the one on Farmington Avenue?
Yeah, Farmington Avenue. Yeah.
Next to Hop House.
yeah.
In between
It's
Hop
Hop
House
House,
and
So,
yeah,
Joel.
so this one,
Yeah.
so I can
Yeah.
speak on this. It's going
Yeah.
to be a restaurant down below,
Oh,
and,
that's right. It's
okay.
commercial down below.
and
right.
apartment units up top.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so,
It'll fit in, I think, once it's finished.
yeah, it
Yeah.
did go through planning and zoning.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course,
And
of course. it
I
all
know
does.
we've seen the comments on Berlin
A little
Buzz, and
close to the road, but I'm
yeah.
sure they'll make a nice.
Yeah.
this has been vetted by
Yeah.
the Planning and Zoning
Yeah.
Commission, and they did.
They take those
Yeah,
very
I mean, it
seriously.
can't-
I know they're. Yeah.
They do.
That's a state road, right? That's not a town road, so it can't go into the state right away. And obviously, it's vetted and approved to what could fit in that area. And I think the bonus is the commercial and other restaurant there would
Absolutely.
be nice.
Yeah.
And a few units above. But I think once it's all finished, I know it's a little different than what has been there, which understandably people, change is tough sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Of course.
but I think that area with the commercial development we've seen and the housing. Obviously we got all the units going up by the train station behind
Right.
there. There's 50 units going in back there still. Some of those are affordable too, by the way.
Yeah.
And we have the new train station, so that area is really very vibrant now. It's really changed.
It's doing great.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little, there's been a few words about traffic. The traffic is, a little bit more traffic on Farmington Avenue, but that is really our downtown area. And I always like the words of the mayor of West Hartford.
Oh my God, I was just thinking.
Well,
about
she,
that.
well,
Cantor, Sherry?
yes,
Yeah.
Sherry. She said something recently because they were putting up a Starbucks about the same time we were putting up our Starbucks in a not in the downtown area, but in another area that did have some housing around it, and folks were complaining about traffic. And she says, well, for commercial development, we like traffic because that's what brings the customers to the commercial area. And we've had businesses move to town. We've had a couple of businesses move to town from West Hartford.
Right.
And it certainly does create a little bit more traffic down there, but that's where it should be. Let's
Right.
keep it there. We don't want it going through our neighborhoods. We want to
Right.
keep it on a commercial, and that is a state highway. That was the state highway before Route 9. So I think folks will be okay with that. I hope when they see it finished.
Yeah.
And I think
so.
it'll add to
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
It'll
Yeah,
be.
it's
It'll
a
be.
new.
It takes some getting
project.
used to.
It
Yeah,
does.
it does.
But
It does.
it should be good. I think people will be happy with it.
So Kaylee, I think we could wrap up the
Yes,
first.
yes.
Absolutely.
Before we do, I do want to plug some upcoming dates in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know our Parks and Recreation Department's been working hard on the upcoming Easter Candy Hunt that will be at Sage Park on March 28th, starting at 1 p.m. Our Berlin Youth Services has been working hard on a drive-in movie night that will be at Berlin High School in the
Right
parking
there.
lot on April 11th, starting at 6 p.m. They're going to be showing Lilo and Stitch, followed by Mamma Mia. So it's a
great.
double feature.
Oh,
So
nice.
that should be pretty cool. Stay tuned because as the weather warms, we're going to be having an opening day at our Timberland Golf Course soon. So we're excited about that. And we have a Centurion in town, Mr. Willie
Yes.
Diamato, who's
Yes.
going to be driving the opening drive.
Yes, that's amazing. Yes.
So-
and
What
we
was
just,
the
of
date
course,
that? Do we know the date of
We're
that
not yet.
Okay.
It's
Probably the
weather
Weather dependent.
We need more days like we had on Monday and
I
Tuesday
know,
in
yes.
order to get that going.
yeah.
So,
And Mr. Willie, he still golfs. He's 100 years old now. We just gave him a
Unbelievable.
proclamation. His birthday was last weekend, and in honor of that, he gets a free golf membership, as he should at 100, still playing
Absolutely.
golf, and free use of the carts, and he was pretty excited about that.
we should end on that note because
Yes.
it's a funny story. So the golf commission talked about giving a free membership to Mr. Diamato for turning 100, but they were concerned about setting a precedent at Timberland Golf Course and I don't know about you, Mayor Mark, but I don't know too many 100-year-old golf players we have.
In town.
And you're lucky if you make it to 100, let
Yes.
alone
Play golf.
Play
play
golf.
golf.
Yes,
So
yes. And still drive.
Right.
He still drives to the golf course. So grant them like Willie, we would grant them free yearly membership, but I think we're good for a while with the
I
budget
think so.
at Timberland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of some interesting discussions and funny, funny stuff.
It was
but-
funny. And last but not least, because I know our town clerk would not be happy if I didn't mention,
Yes.
I have to put a plug in for the Yankee Peddler Day.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
That
yes,
is coming
for
up.
250th
Yes.
So I
anniversary
want to
of the
thank, we got a
country.
Berlin 250 in America 250 committee
Yes.
here in Berlin to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the town or the country, and they're bringing back a Yankee Peddler Day. It's going to be on May 30th. So mark your calendars, May 30th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Veterans Park here in town. And so stay tuned. There'll be more to come. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
And we forgot, and we can talk about it next time. Our concert series is continuing this year
Oh,
at
yeah.
St. Paul's. We have 3 concerts planned this year, 3 bands, 3 different bands.
First one's June 18th.
June 18th is the
We'll-
first one.
we'll
Yeah.
talk more.
Yeah, next time. We
Yeah.
got more to talk about. So a bunch of fun stuff going on.
Yeah.